The fabric over my chest was damp again. I sighed, opening my eyes in the dim light of the dorm room. Another shirt ruined. I slipped out of bed as quietly as I could, my feet finding the cool rungs of the ladder. My roommates were engrossed in a game, their faces illuminated by the neon glow of their monitors, their shouts echoing in the small space. No one noticed me. I crept to my closet, snatched a fresh t-shirt, and made a beeline for the bathroom. Just as my hand touched the doorknob, the main door to our dorm swung open. A guy with a cool, handsome face walked in, stopping right in front of me. Caden Miles, my aloof roommate, the undisputed campus prince. Even though we weren't close, we were friendly enough for a casual chat, so I stopped, forcing a warm smile. Hey Caden, you're back. Yeah. His voice was a low murmur, then his eyes drifted down, settling on my chest. Your shirt's wet. My heart hammered against my ribs. I fought the urge to cover myself, opting for an embarrassed laugh. Instead, spilled some water on myself. Clumsy me. Is that so? Caden's dark eyes lifted to meet mine. But, is that milk I smell? My smile froze on my face. Oh, that. I was drinking milk, too. Spilled them both. I tried to keep my voice steady, my mind racing for a better excuse. Anyway, Caden, you should probably get changed and rest up. I'm feeling a bit hot, so I'm just gonna take a quick shower. I'll be out in a flash. Without waiting for his reply, I ducked into the bathroom, feigning a sense of urgency. The door clicked shut behind me. I leaned against it, my breath catching in my throat. After a few seconds of silence, I heard his footsteps move away. I turned and faced the mirror, yanking off my shirt with a defeated sigh. The front was soaked. A faint, sweet, milky scent hung in the air, a scent that shouldn't exist. My cheeks burned with shame. I flicked on the ventilation fan and turned on the shower, the lukewarm water doing little to cool the heat in my soul. I still couldn't wrap my head around it. How could I, a guy, suddenly start lactating? At first, I thought it was some terminal illness. I rushed to the hospital in a panic, but the doctor told me it was nothing serious, just a case of overdeveloped breast tissue. He prescribed some medication and told me it would clear up in time, but it had been almost 2 weeks and this bizarre condition hadn't improved. It flared up at random, forcing me to change shirts twice a day. To keep it from my roommates, I'd come up with a string of flimsy excuses. Spilled milk, feeling hot, needing another shower. Thankfully, they were a bunch of rough and tumble guys, not prone to overthinking things. I had managed to get by, but Caden was different. He wasn't just impossibly handsome, he was impossibly smart. Every time I had a flare-up in the dorm, his dark, penetrating gaze would flick over to me, and my blood would run cold. I lived in constant fear that he'd figure it out. Once my chest was back to normal, I stepped out of the bathroom. Caden was walking over, a change of clothes in his hand. His eyes swept over my clean, dry shirt, his expression unreadable. Finished? Yeah, go ahead. Plenty of hot water left, I chirped. He brushed past me, but then he stopped. Emmett, you forgot your shirt. I peeked into the bathroom. There it was, my damp t-shirt, lying on the sink counter. The faint white stains were still visible. Damn it. I scrambled back, snatching the shirt and bundling it into my laundry basin. Sorry, I forgot to wash it. I'll just let it soak. I practically fled the scene. Caden didn't press. A short while later, he emerged from the bathroom rubbing his hair with a towel. In his other hand, he held 2 neatly washed shirts. One of them was mine. Caden, why do you have my shirt? He looked up at me, his face a calm mask. I saw your shirt soaking and washed it for you. You washed it for me. I gaped, my brain short-circuiting. Yeah, his expression was serene. The milk you spilled was a bit tough to get out once it dried. Had to scrub it a bit. He met my gaze, his eyes dark and unreadable. Emmett, what brand of milk do you drink? It has a particular scent. My throat went dry. I felt pinned by his stare. Particular how? It's sweet. His dark eyes held mine, and for a second, I felt like he was seeing right through my flimsy lies to the humiliating truth beneath. But then he blinked, and the intensity was gone. I scrambled for an answer, my voice a little too high. Just the strawberry milk from the campus store. Nothing special. I can give you a carton if you want. No need. I'll buy some myself tomorrow. Okay, make sure to buy 5 at once. There's a discount, I babbled, forcing a bright, grateful smile. Got it. Caden nodded and turned to hang the clothes. I thanked him again and quickly retreated behind my curtain, my body collapsing onto the mattress. Through a tiny gap, I watched his back as he moved. It seemed he hadn't figured it out, but the image of his hands, those long, elegant, perfect hands, scrubbing the milk stains from my shirt, and him calling the scent sweet, it sent a jolt of heat straight through me. My ears burned, and my heart wouldn't slow down. The encounter plagued my dreams. One moment, Caden was looking at me with disgust. The next, he was asking to taste the strawberry milk, his eyes dark with a hunger that terrified me. I woke up with a gasp, my face flushed, my first instinct to check my chest. Thank God, it was dry. My prayers worked through my classes, but on the walk back to the dorm I felt the familiar, dreaded dampness. I quickened my pace. A message from my roommate Nate confirmed he and the others were out for the night. I glanced at the basketball courts. Caden was there, a god among mortals, unlikely to be back soon. The dorm would be empty. For once I wouldn't have to hide. I locked the door, drew the curtains, and stripped off my shirt. Maybe because I'd held it in all day, this time it was a deluge. The cloyingly sweet, milky scent quickly filled the room. Just as I was wiping myself down, red-faced and flustered, the sound of a key turning in the lock echoed through the room. Click, clack. My head snapped up, my face draining of all color. The door swung open. Caden stood there, fresh from his game. His gaze swept over the clumps of used tissues at my feet, over my bloodless face, and finally landed on my bare chest. Emmett, is this your strawberry milk? He asked, his voice dangerously soft. I was frozen. Under his intense stare, my body betrayed me again. A fresh trickle escaped. I squeezed my eyes shut. It was over, but Caden just closed the door and walked towards me. Can I explain? I pleaded. You can. The words tumbled out of me in a desperate rush, showing him my medical records, the prescription, anything to prove I wasn't a freak. The doctor said it'll go away. I'll be normal. Please don't tell anyone. He nodded slowly. I won't tell. Don't worry. He handed me a fresh pack of tissues. Wipe yourself off. My relief was so immense it made me reckless. I grabbed his hand, thanking him profusely. You're a really good person. If you ever need anything, I'll do whatever I can to help. In my excitement, my condition flared up again. A few drops splattered directly onto Caden's expensive Nike sneakers. He glanced down, his eyes unreadable, then slowly withdrew his hand. Okay, I'm going to take a shower. shower. You clean up and then get yourself washed up too. As the sound of the shower started, I felt a wave of hope. He wasn't disgusted by me. He was going to help me. With the secret out, a huge burden was lifted. I decided to treat him to dinner to show my gratitude. When I came out of my own shower refreshed and dressed, we headed to the cafeteria. The place was packed. We found a table and started eating. I couldn't help but steal glances at him, my heart fluttering. Lost in my thoughts, I felt a familiar twinge in my chest. I ignored it, but a few minutes later, my expression changed. Oh no, not now. It was happening again, a flood. I glanced down. A dark patch was rapidly spreading across my light blue shirt. It was horrifyingly obvious. I dropped my chopsticks and slumped forward, trying to hide my chest against the table. Across from me, Caden's head snapped up. His nose twitched slightly. Emmett, are you not feeling well? I nodded, my voice a panicked whisper. It's happening again, I think. I'm losing control. I can't get up now. People will see. Caden's brow furrowed. He stood up without a word. He pulled me to my feet and pressed me firmly against his chest, shielding me from view as he steered me towards the restrooms. We'll handle it in the bathroom, he said, his voice low and steady. I clutched the hem of his shirt, trembling as I felt curious glances on us. Caden, they're going to see, I whimpered. Don't worry, just stay close to me. He led me into the men's room. Thankfully, it was empty. He maneuvered me into the last stall and closed the door. Without a second to spare, I fumbled for the tissues in my pocket, lifting my shirt with one hand and frantically dabbing at my chest with the other. The cool air on my damp skin made me shiver. Then I heard it, a soft, low chuckle from the tall, silent figure in front of me. My entire body flushed with a burning shame. I scrubbed harder, but the more frantic I became, the more it seemed to flow. I was just making a bigger, wetter mess. As I was on the verge of tears, Caden's cool voice cut through my panic. Emmett, do you need me to wipe it for you? I looked up, my vision blurry, and nodded. I just wanted this to be over. The smell in the public restroom was unbearable. With both hands, I obediently lifted my shirt. Caden's voice was a low command, chest out, closer to me. I trembled, but I did as he said. He took a tissue and began to wipe. His touch was surprisingly gentle, a stark contrast to my own rough, panicked scrubbing. His hands were beautiful, with long, elegant fingers. When a drop of the liquid touched his skin, the sight was overwhelming. I felt like I